Distraction.
Distraction.
Yeah.
So this is the 2009 Distraction. This is kind of a little bit of a preview of what's to come. So it's a Bordeaux blend. It has all 5 varietals: Cab, Cab Franc, and Merlot primarily, and then a little bit of Petit Verdot in there at the end as well.
It's got some berry in there, huh?
That's
just kind of.
So we have the 2 properties. I know we talked about the one on Union Road and then the one up in San Miguel. And so the Cab and the Malbec come from the San Miguel property.
I love Malbec.
Yeah.
It's one of my
And
favorite.
I love Franc too. I like Cabernet Franc. I mean, if they do it right, I really like Cabernet
It's
Franc.
cool.
Yeah.
And I like it blended in wines too. It just gives it that nice little taste there.
Yeah, it's got a great nose.
So if you have any of that.
Now this wine is starting to pair with some of the foods a little
I'm
bit
thinking
better because they're more robust, and so are a lot of the foods that I brought.
Is this prosciutto on the date?
Prosciutto on the date, yes.
And so this is kind of the flagship right now for you guys, or?
Yeah, this is more or less the flagship wine.
Okay.
It's it kind of got coined because as the facility was starting to take shape and the property, it really turned into quite a distraction. And so Tom was spending more and more time away from his day job up here, and so that's kind of how it got coined.
And does Tom help with the winemaking, or is he farming more, or is he?
Yeah,
he's farming right now. He's running a tractor right now. He's
Okay.
putting copper on because we expect
Cool.
maybe some modest freezes.
All right, Tom will let you off the hook for that.
Yeah, he was supposed to be here, but I'm filling in because he's tractoring. He loves being on the tractor.
Yeah.
Anything with an
Most
engine,
guys
he's
do,
in. Oh, if it's a piece of equipment, he's all in.
I got a question about weather. Okay, now you said you're expecting possibly a freeze.
That's what they're telling us.
Where are you getting? I mean, we listen to the local news and everything, but and I think you got to be probably a little sharper than some of the news we hear out there.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
where are vineyards and winemakers getting their information, or is it in your? Do you get arthritis a little bit, or what kind of feeling do you get that I know we can. I can pull out my phone and I can look 10 days in advance.
Right.
But I think it's a little more advanced for winemakers, and so where do you get your anticipation for these things, or your?
For us personally, it's a lot of it relies on our vineyard manager, who is Howie Steinbeck. You drive around his truck and he's got, it's like you're chasing a tornado. He's got like all sorts of.
Oh, does he all?
Yeah.
I always hear NOAA.
Yeah, National
NOAA,
Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration is a very
That's
good
always
tool.
what I hear.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I use NOAA a lot, and that's what I use.
Yeah.
But Howie's like a walking farmer's almanac, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's
He's
just
been farming for 50 years.
everything
60
about it.
years.
He's just old school farmer.
Yeah.
He can probably smell the dirt and
He
say,
can.
we're just going to frost it.
Yeah.
It's at 33 degrees.
I know,
like
and the
that.
weather's not saying that, and you're like, at first you think, let's discount Howie, and then after a few whackings, you say, Howie says, and we do.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's really our most important tool is a good vineyard manager, and he knows the area. Obviously, he knows the land.
Yeah.
That's solid.
Is he from this area? I mean, is he
He's
a
fifth
dirt
generation.
farmer from this area? I mean, he's a...
Yeah, that's.
I mean, we don't want to give away too many secrets about Howie, but I'm going to say comfortably that he's in his early 70s, and he was born on the property he lives on.
Oh, okay.
And he's 5th generation. So I think, when you talk about intuition, it's really just learned experiences.
So I think it's that...
He's got it.
That gives you the smarts for hiring the guy. See,
He's our neighbor. And
you
we love
knew
him.
who to put in charge of that vineyard. So.
We're very lucky.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get lucky in the people you work with, and we definitely are.
I agree. Yeah.
So you said this was a Bordeaux blend. Is it cab based? Cab Franc?
It is. It's
Cabernet?
Cab Merlot, Cab Franc. It's all 5. It's in the past it's been predominantly cab based, but now we have all these other varietals coming online. So the plan is to make the best wine possible. And this year it was with all 5.
Nice.
Now, as a sommelier, okay, can you pick out all 5 varietals?
In this wine?
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't be able to pick up all 5. Definitely probably 3.
Okay, in your...
I mean...
When you got licensed to be a sommelier,
Yeah.
what did you have to pick out of wines? That what were you tested on the wines? Did you have to bring out in the wines? What were they asking you?
They basically, it's a calibration. So you study under a master somm, and basically they calibrate your palate to identify correct levels of acidity, tannin, fruit, and so there's kind of a deductive tasting, if you will, through wines. And it's much like your math teacher when you're in school. They don't care about the end answer. They want to know how you got to the answer. Okay. And that's by far the most important part. When I went, I took my test at the Pebble Beach golf resort.
Where you were jealous because they were playing golf.
Yeah, it was a horrible trick.
Bad
they played on
experience.
us.
Okay.
So yeah, they send you out there and you have a blind tasting, and they're not trying to trick you. They just want to make sure that you can correctly identify the correct varieties and their correct expressions. If I can remember correctly, we got a California Zin, and we had a Sancerre Sauv Blanc. And I'm pretty sure that that's what we had, because they don't disclose what the wines were. And then after that, you take a test, and then after that, you're given a service portion of a test. And what you do, like I said, you just go through, you taste the wines, you go through them visually, you go through them on the palate, and then you give it a final conclusion at the end.
It was funny. I had the opportunity to go to culinary school back in '76, and that was in New York, and we did a wine class. Not one California wine.
Yeah.
All European, not one.
Yeah. It's really fun. It was a lot of fun, and it's awesome to taste. That was by far the best part of it, tasting with the master sommelier, because they really kind of give you the tools, and they shed light to what high acidity is, or high tannin is, or technically in the world of sommeliers, 14 is high alcohol. Traditionally, wines are, they used to be from 12 to 14.
12,
yeah.
right. 12, 14.
And so now, we live in Paso, and we drink Paso wines, and I always tell my staff, be aware, be cognizant of the fact that the wines that are produced here, it's a warmer climate, so we produce higher alcohol wines. So the wines here are higher in alcohol, and are higher in body. And so it's just kind of knowing and understanding. I think a lot of us consume wine, and we don't really pay attention to what's going on in the palate. And I think that's where really people have leaps and bounds to make as far as just understanding. And everyone can taste wine. Everyone has a great palate. Everyone has senses. We all smell. And I always tell my staff, whatever you smell, whatever you taste is whatever you smell and taste. Don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise. And that's the most important part. But sometimes they can be a little bit mistaken as far as levels of acidity and tannin, and that's a little bit more complex. But for the most part, they do a great job, and it's fun to watch.
I think some people mix up tannin and acidity.
Yeah.
Did you find that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. I think they're both sensational.
Right.
They're both they're not flavors. Sometimes acidity can seem sour, but acidity makes your mouth water, whereas tannin makes acidity is to white wine what tannin is to red, and vice versa. And tannin and acidity are the backbones of wines.